This happened around 12:30 or 1 in the morning. I'm still pretty freaked out. So my uncle is out of town, and I had to go over to let his dog out. He lives near a neighborhood, but mostly around a thick wooded area. I know it sounds corny, but as soon as I got there, I felt so disturbed and just really unsettled. I don't know if this is important, but when I looked out of the window, a couple of deer were looking at me before running off, which is strange, because my uncle's yard is fenced. Anyways, the dog was reluctant to go out, so I bribed her with some treats. When I got outside, I immediately noticed how quiet it was. Usually there's spring peepers and all kinds of critters, but today was so silent. As soon as the dog was done doing her business, I took her inside. The walk back to my car isn't too far, but I have to walk near the woods for a bit. On the way to my car, I started hearing noises. Too quiet to tell, but definitely an abnormal sound. I ignored it and kept walking. It started getting louder, until I could vividly hear what sounded like a whistled tune. I was scared out of my mind, but with my mum living in Appalachia, I knew better than to run. I ended up getting into my car and got the hell out of there. I still can't shake that disturbing feeling the air had by those woods. What do you guys think? Am I being a bit dramatic, or does it sound like a skinwalker? For context, I'm at my cottage in the middle of nowhere. Nearest town is around 20 to 25 minutes away, surrounded by forest. Only neighbor is family. Weird stuff has always been happening up here, but never specifically to me, until now. It's always unsettling up here, especially at night. Maybe because you really can't get help down here, even if you needed it. My encounters started around last year. I was sleeping in my bed, a bunk bed, on the top bunk, which backs onto a window, so you can see outside if you turn your head back a bit. It was around 5 or 6 in the morning. I woke up early for whatever reason, I don't remember. Anyways, as I am lying in bed, I hear this blood-curdling scream coming from outside. My window was open because it was summer and it was hot. It scared the absolute crap out of me, but nevertheless, I looked outside to try and see what it was. Nothing. Something was still screaming. Kept on going for about 5 minutes. Then it just stopped. Then this year, I come back up with some weed to smoke at night. A few days ago, I go out for a smoke on the back porch. Backs right onto the forest and the area where my bedroom window is. I'm smoking, and all of a sudden, something starts laughing. And not a laugh you'd hear from a human. I can't explain it. Almost like an animal, trying to imitate a laugh. Very low and odd sounding. I brushed it off until I heard branches snapping, which nearly made me crap my pants. I went inside, closed and locked the door. I tried watching TV, but I couldn't shake this awful feeling. Sheer panic. I can't explain it. I felt like I was being watched. I was scared, so I went inside of my room to go to bed. Then I saw it. A silhouette of a face in my window. The window to my bedroom is about 8 feet off the ground, so no regular human could stand beside it and look in. My light was on, and it was dark outside, so I could barely see it. I mostly saw my own reflection, but something was there. I ran out of the room for a second, went back and it was gone. I have zero idea how I slept in that room that night. Ever since that day, while I've been up there, when it's nighttime, I have that feeling of being watched, extremely unsettling. As I said, I actually can't explain it. Every single night, something knocks on my bedroom window and makes noises outside. I wholeheartedly believe that something is stalking me, whatever the hell was at my window. Update 1. Compared to other nights, last night was fairly uneventful, except outside it sounded like something was banging on the wall. It's either the wall or car door. I can't figure it out. I have one car in my driveway, mine, and nobody else was there last night. The sounds were coming from right outside my bedroom window. Update 2. More banging outside my window, and some holes in the gravel driveway, but otherwise nothing. I've boarded up my windows and don't leave the house after sunset. Seems to do the trick. Update 3. I survived. I'm home now. Sick as hell, but I'm alive. Weird experience. I definitely won't be returning. Let me start with some context. Me, a female, 19 years old, and my boyfriend, male, 21. Just moved in with a friend last month who lives with his elderly mother in a 40-ish-year-old suburban house that backs up to a largely dense and overgrown wooded area that stretches miles back. We only had one unexplained experience before moving in here, and our roommate, male 27, is far from skeptic about encounters. He just chooses not to discuss what he sees out of fear it might come back. If this helps add any context, my boyfriend is 36% Sioux Native American and has lots of family who are half, if not full, Sioux as well. Before we moved, my boyfriend and I would make the drive to visit our now roommate a few times a month, when work wasn't in the way, etc. We witnessed nothing weird or felt no off energy until the last visit we made to him before we moved in. We were watching a movie in the upstairs guest room, which is now our bedroom, when I got up to use the bathroom. It was 1 or 2 in the morning at this time, and I was trying to be as quiet as possible. The bathroom upstairs has 2 doors. One separates the hallway from the sinks, and the other separates the sinks from the shower and toilet. I left the first door open, but shut and locked the second door. As I was about to get up, the second door swung open on me, full force, and hit me on the knee. It was so hard that I thought one of the guys walked in on me, so I yelled, "Hey, someone's in here!" And when I looked up, I saw nothing. A little freaked out, I walked back into the room and told my boyfriend and our friend about it, and they both said that they did not walk in on me whatsoever. My now roommate made a joke, saying that it must be the land messing with you. I didn't think this was too funny, so I asked what the hell he was talking about. That's when he told me that there are rumors that the property around this house used to be disturbed Indian burial grounds. I kind of forgot about everything and chalked it up to me being tired, which brings us to the current set of events. What I'm about to say has been happening since about a week or 2 since we moved. It started with my roommate standing outside smoking a cigarette when he got home from work and spotted someone moving across from the house. He immediately ran upstairs and grabbed his SKS and asked one of us to accompany him to see what it was. My boyfriend told me to stay put and they would be back. About 20 minutes after they left, I heard a scratching on the screen of my open window. We are on the 2nd floor. I thought nothing of it until I heard the guys run up the steps and into my room, struggling to catch their breath. They looked absolutely terrified, and that quite frankly scared me as well. My roommate started by saying when he was outside after he got home, he saw one of his buddies walking across the street from the house. He thought this was strange because this particular friend lived in Ohio, and we are located 9 hours away from there. My roommate called his friend's name out, thinking it might be him, and when he did, he got no response. He let it go, thinking he was seeing things, until he saw this person move into the trees and the shrubbery around it violently shake for a few minutes. He came in scared, because he wanted to make sure this person was okay, but when my boyfriend and him went outside, they noticed this person was gone, and the shrubbery stopped shaking. They said it was as if they weren't alone though, because they kept hearing things like branches and twigs break in the distance and weird noises. Still scared, they ran back to the house before anything else happened. This is when I told them about the scratching I heard. They pulled up the blinds on that window to reveal 3 scratch marks on the screen. That night, we all slept in the same room. For the next few nights, all of us heard nothing but bird noises right next to the window, and something hitting the siding every night at around 1:45. And most importantly, since my roommate saw the strange person, I have felt uneasy being in the house alone. I usually do fine until I have to use the bathroom or take a shower. 4 days after the before-mentioned incident, I went to take a shower around 9 p.m. and felt uneasy the whole time, sort of like someone was watching my every move. I only felt this way in the part of the bathroom with the toilet and shower that has the window facing the wooded area in the backyard. I felt so uneasy. I did what I had to do and got out and told myself I would not go back in that bathroom for the rest of the night. I had a hard time sleeping that whole night and was wide awake. At about 3 or so in the morning, I went to use the bathroom, and the whole time I was in there, I was hearing a bird sound. It sounded like either a hawk or a crow being choked. At first the sound was distant, so I didn't worry about it, but the longer I was in the bathroom, the closer and closer the sound got to the house. It was almost as if the bird was right in my ear. At this point, I felt very uneasy and decided to leave. As soon as I got up and flushed the toilet, I was about to turn the lights off, and I turned around to see this figure in the window. It did not look human at all, and genuinely scared the hell out of me. It was very hard to explain exactly what it looked like, but I remember distinctly that it was like just a barely recognizable face, with a claw that looked almost eagle-like, scratching against the bathroom window. I freaked the hell out and ran down the hall back to my room, leaving the lights on. I told my boyfriend what I saw, and he seemed to turn almost white. We waited an hour or so before investigating and turning the lights off. The next morning, I told my roommate what I saw, and him and my boyfriend decided to check out the woods behind the house. They were gone for 2 hours before returning. They didn't say a word to me about anything and just went upstairs, showered, and sat in silence. I was finally able to get something out of my boyfriend. He said what they saw out there wasn't human and scared him to death. He said they walked so far back in the woods that they found a clearing of nothingness. No sound, no animal life, no trees, no nothing. Feeling uneasy, they decided to start walking back when they heard a shriek come from the woods ahead of them. My boyfriend said it sounded inhuman, and they bolted back the way they came. Both of them are still very shaken up about this, and won't talk about anything else other than the shriek. Since that day, we have had nothing but strange occurrences happen in the house. Today, I even had the same door hit me like it did before we moved, and it isn't even dark yet. I don't know what's going on. My boyfriend and roommate are dead set that this is Skinwalker activity. I have not done a whole lot of research on Skinwalkers, and I figured sharing this here would be the best course of action, considering the fact that this sub is full of encounters that would be very similar to mine. I just want answers and peace of mind that I know what is going on, so I can get the hell away from it. I mentioned my boyfriend's heritage, thinking that could have something to do with his beliefs or the activity. But he said growing up, nobody in his family was allowed to say Skinwalker out loud or talk about them. He refers to them just by SW and tells me to do the same when discussing them. I just hope this is mainly a coincidence and not a Skinwalker. But I don't know anymore. Maybe this post is in the wrong place, but I certainly hope it isn't.